So hey guys, so I watched the whole thing in one night. It wasn't the plan, but I kind of plowed through it because it was really good. Had to know what happened. So Neil, can you first talk a bit about kind of where the idea came from and how it went from book to TV?
Well, the first kind of the very initial throb of the idea came from an experience I had when I was very young. I was 15 or 16, and I used to spend a lot of time at my sister's house. My sister's older than me. She's married. She had kids, and she lived on a great sprawling housing estate on the southeast edge of Bristol in the West Country in England.
Mhm.
And I was going back to my sister's house one night, very, very drunk, as I spent the first 30 years of my life. And I took a shortcut. And there's a shortcut to my sister's house through the woods, through a very creepy set of concrete steps through the woods.
Mhm.
And I woke up the next morning, and I think we've all experienced it at least once in our life, that feeling of waking up after drinking too much the night before, and you get a sudden kind of spurt of anxiety for something you did or said, some kind of ghost thing or cruel thing or idiotic thing or just being dull. And I had that surge, that kind of fountain of adrenaline, except it was attached to the fact that I remembered randomly killing a homeless person on the way home. It was, I have to emphasize now,
Yeah, not real. Yeah.
it was a dream of such profound realism that I was haunted for a long time by this niggle, this kind of anxious niggle that perhaps I really had done it. I remembered it, and the days following this dream, I was. This is before the internet. This is when the world was in black and white, and I was reading the newspapers and listening to the news on the radio. I was waiting for somebody to discover a body, and I was terrified to go back. Back down those creepy steps. And of course it never happened. And I've learned subsequently, this is a characteristic of a slightly unusual form of OCD. It's a thing that happens to people. It's called pure O. But yeah, that sense of how one uncharacteristic, monstrous, drunken, stoned act can profoundly alter the course of the rest of your life. How do you live with yourself? Sorry, that was a long answer to a simple question.
That's okay. So, Amrita, was it hard playing three different timelines at once? Was it kind of complicated keeping it straight, or how did you work with that?
No, I found it quite enjoyable actually, because I'd read the book before, which gave a really great base anyway, in terms of sort of threading together the different stages of Holly's grief and storyline. And in a sense, I found that the script is sort of split into three different chapters of her life anyway. So she does very much feel like a different person with a different energy in each of those spaces. So that wasn't too difficult. I think on the days when we were obviously shooting different timelines on the same day, that could get quite strange. But also because there was makeup and costume involved, it kind of roots you in that space as well. So it was a fun challenge more than anything else to be able to go through the different ages of Holly, and the different spaces emotionally that she was in, and the needs that she would have and how they'd change during those times.
Okay. And Neil, I was wondering, after watching it, are you kind of interested in EVP and ghost and that kind of thing? And how do you feel about it, Amrita?
I'm profoundly interested in it. I've spent my entire life fascinated by and troubled by notions of the supernatural, which is undercut by the fact that I'm a rationalist. I, in fact, do not believe in the supernatural. I believe in a mysterious but fundamentally, ultimately explicable universe. However, the sense of the numinous, the sense of the supernatural is something which most of us at some point in our lives in some way experience. So I am, to coin a phrase, haunted by it. It's a fascination of mine.
Amrita, how do you feel about that stuff?
I think the world is a more fun place if it does exist. So I choose to hope that there are things out there, because it just makes, I don't know, something to discover, isn't there? There's more to write about.
Okay, well, that's a good answer. All right, well, thank you both of you for talking to me today. I appreciate it, and I really enjoyed the show. So,
Oh, thank you very much. It's really kind. It's very nice to meet you.
nice to meet you guys too. Bye-bye.
Bye.